Well, hello out there, planet Earth, and happy Friday. It's Groundhog Day again. We get to see if we have 6 more weeks of winter or an early spring today. One forecast you can count on for sure is when it's Friday. It's always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. ICYMI, or in case you missed it, SMB stands for Small and Medium-Sized Business. For the last 20 years, I've been a consultant for SMBs, a voice and a sounding board for our business leaders, advocating on their behalf, their employees too, wherever I can. I believe very strongly, folks, in sharing stories, providing perspective, and creating connection. That's what we're all about. Every single Friday, you could find me right here on talkradio.nyc after Tommy D on Philanthropy in Focus, doing just that, lending what's left of my mind and my voice to this radio show where I interview business leaders as well as their trusted advisors, the folks who steer them in the right direction on a daily basis. One thing I've noticed over the years, some of the best thought leadership for the business world, especially SMBs, it happens on Friday, right about the time we feel that freedom of the weekend coming. However, we're also anxious to start the weekend, myself included. I can't get away from it either. These crucial pearls of wisdom, they're often overlooked, they're forgotten in favor of our fun activities and our freedom from the office. Here on the show, we take advantage of that weekend freedom and clarity, and we discuss some popular topics that are on the minds of our business leaders and, again, the folks who steer them in the right direction. Well, everybody's got to work together to make it happen these days. Teamwork makes the dream work. Once again, name of the show, not just a play on words. My last name means free in German. A little bit of deeper meaning here. Not just random. Sometimes I feel like the beginning of my show is a bit like Groundhog Day, the movie. I like to spew the same rhetoric week after week. Sorry if it gets repetitive, guys. Just in case there are some folks out there listening to my antics for the first time. Sometime this morning when I'm thinking about doing the show today, I got that, put your little hand in mine. There ain't no little hill or mountain we can't climb. Babe, I got you, babe. Over and over again, I kept thinking about it. I couldn't get away. It's not because I'm lazy. Well, maybe sometimes I'm a little bit lazy, but I'm just trying to create some consistency with who I am and what I do these days. As simple as that may sound, it can be very difficult for business leaders, especially when they're very close to what they do. There has to be kind of a deep knowledge and emotional intelligence, if you will, of ourselves as people and as professionals too, but as people first. We're all people first. That's what helps us create brand consistency in real life and especially in the virtual world. You got to know what your differentiation is, what's unique about you, what are your core values, the characteristics you like to convey. But also, you have to think about your target audience, the clients, the ideal client profile. What are they interested in? Where do they like to look for folks like you? I'm a people first guy. I'm all about building the relationship. It can take all kinds of interactions these days. I do this radio show. I have sales meetings. I have conference calls. I have presentations. It's any number of combination. It's the average sales guy has 12 interactions with somebody before they actually commit and move forward. But a consistent, recognizable brand, again, both in real life and online, it can really help build some trust and familiarity and really start to break down some of those barriers that get put up. So today, I thought that we would chat a little bit about branding plus business development. Our special guest has that plastered in a whole bunch of different places around her website and her rhetoric, and I freaking love it, right? So my friend Michael Leibowitz, we talked to him a little while back, Magnetic Mind Studio. He said when I interviewed him that marketing is asking someone out on a date and branding is the reason that they say yes. I always love that. I brought it up on the show a whole bunch of times since then. A consistent and recognizable brand helps customers build that trust and familiarity. Once again, my friend Kelly Craig, now Kelly Craig Loth, she got married, shout out to Kelly, from Social Stamina, said in our interview last year that she loves to meet the clients where they're at. And these days, this means we have to do that in a number of different ways. It's not just a one-trick pony. It's not one right answer. To be successful regardless, your brand consistency matters. It's about coming back to the core of who you are as a person. Again, we're all people first. You got to be able to tell that story, sometimes quickly if you don't have much time, but you can obviously be intentional with your website design, with your content, with your blog posts, with the fonts, with the spacing, all kinds of different things as it can show up visually as well as audibly, doing things like a podcast. This can help you create consistency and really strengthen your brand. When you make decisions about some of the more aesthetic parts, it almost makes it easier to know yourself, right? And then the better you know yourself, it becomes easier to do the work that you do and to communicate what you're doing to the folks you want to do it for. So our special guest today is a creative, artistic, success-focused graphic designer who helps SMBs think about their branding with a direct correlation between how they show up and how much money they're making. Simple as that. Something that a lot of people talk about and think about, but they don't necessarily execute on. Talk is cheap. We're not paid by the word here once again. We do like some actual action. We're on talkradio.nyc. The goal here is to use the insight on the business landscape and let's create some impact on Monday morning. That's it. That's what we're about. It's far too often the folks I work with, they're focused on some type of brand new toy, shiny new mousetrap, magic wand product that's going to fix all of their problems. It doesn't exist. They can try to keep looking for it if they want. They're still going to change every day. People, we're all people first. You start with the people, you focus on a right process, something tangible and executable. You'll find the right products when you need them. You got to have the right people first. So I know I have the right people around me today because I've been asking this right people to come hang with me for quite some time now. Our special guest is Christine Reignettes. I'm glad you phonetically pronounced that for me so I didn't screw it up. She is the founder of Paran Design. We're going to tell you the story about Paran Design today. But before we turn the mic over to Christine, founder and creator of the firm, New York-based graphic design, branding, marketing studio dedicated to the success of firms mostly in the law area, which I'm married to an attorney. I know what that could be like, and the nonprofit world. At Paran Design, Christine works with small and mid-sized companies to create powerful and thoughtful visual experiences. She partners with businesses to help transform the brands, evoke emotion, and connect audiences to achieve business and financial goals. We're all here to make money, people. You got to be able to measure something at some point. As a woman and minority-owned business, Christine understands the power of diversity and the importance of crafting authentic stories that resonate. Her passion is weaving intricate narratives that connect brands and empower organizations to achieve their full potential. When she's not running the firm, she likes to create 80s playlists, binge watch shows, sketch in her notebooks, and get on her yoga mat. Christine lives a full, extraordinary life with her husband Vlad, her daughter Sophia, and their dogs Harvey and Estella. We're just talking about them, actually. Christine has a very unique resume for the space that she plays in, which is often a massive advantage for her as well as her clients. We're going to talk movies. We'll talk TV. We'll talk music. I promise you. A long time in the making, Christine, starting with a vibrant discussion at a popular watering hole in the city last year. And now you're here. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming out. You do have to unmute, though. I forgot to tell you that studies show that we can't hear you when you're on mute.
Did the novice thing. Thank you so much, Steve. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Fabulous.
I try to tee it up nice. I'm a big golf guy, so you always hear a lot of golf analogies. Christine, I love the perspective you bring to this world. I've had many discussions on the air with folks in this space, including last week. I spoke to my buddy Gary about custom tailored digital marketing campaigns. And the idea of a creative spin on actually getting the branding done that leads to the consistent business development discussion, that's huge. And a lot of people don't really put it together that way. That's ultimately what they want. Everybody wants to make more money. But I know we're going to have fun today talking about this. You got to give us a little bit of the founder's journey. Tell us how you got into this.
Founder's journey. Well, I am first generation Cuban American. My parents came from Cuba and they met in Brooklyn. So a great New York story. There they are. And yeah, my dad always had the entrepreneur spirit, and we eventually moved to Queens. And so he also planted his business in Queens as well, in Long Island City. Yeah, right. Import export business. And so he actually named the business after me, CMP Import Export. So it's Christine Marie Perez, which is my maiden name.
Awesome.
And yeah, he named it after me. And I mean, I have such fond memories of going to his office, going to the warehouse, going on, all these pieces of equipment and hanging out in his office. And I have a really strong memory of his business cards, like
Yep.
from a very young age. So stationery and design always left an imprint.
My dad's a retired Brooklyn teacher. And I have very vivid memories of going to visit him at school in the Cobble Hill, Carroll Gardens area. I don't know, 35 years ago, 40 years ago. And it's just totally different area, crazy. Like, but that's awesome. Like, it's coming from family business, small, medium-sized business that your father put together, and him naming it after you. And now you named your new firm, combination of the old and the new, not right?
Yeah, which is honoring him, honoring my mother, honoring the family, because it takes a family, it takes a community to make a business, and
honoring Vlad.
And honoring my husband, my current family. So yeah, it melds the PER and the RAN is Peren, creates Perez is my maiden name, and Ranietz is my married name. So, merged together to create Peren Design.
Love it. Love it. So I speak to so many people, Christine, that claim to help in the world of marketing, branding. And I do find that depending on who you're talking to, that might mean a little something different to everybody. But at the end of the day, like I keep going back to, like this thought and this talk that we're having today, it comes back to sales, strategy on revenue, earning more money, like year over year. That's a big thing that's on business owners' minds all the time, in addition to operating expenses, taxes, and health insurance that I always help them with. But they want to make money. So at the end of the rainbow that is marketing and branding, however you decide to categorize all of it, there needs to be business development, there needs to be long-lasting relationships, and money built while you sleep. So how do you help these folks get there? I know we're going to get deeper into it, but I want to know.
Yeah, it's really about graphic design, branding, and marketing. So it's those three complementary elements that I offer my clients. And so when combined, they elevate a company and a business, attract audiences, position companies as industry leaders. If it's a nonprofit, it tells their story about their mission, really leading audiences to them. So.
The mission, though, when you work with a nonprofit organization, a lot of times the mission statement is very clearly spelled out. Not as common with small, medium-sized, privately held for-profit businesses. And they're starting to more and more get the picture, especially if they want to produce some content online, et cetera, that they're going to have a little bit of a vision and a mission and a core values and all of that type of thing. But they still seem to have a lot of trouble not only verbalizing it, but like you said, graphic design wise, visually displaying it.
Yes. It's the visuals support the person, support the company, and so really where I dive in with my clients is about the story and telling their story. And then all of the, the visuals and the logo is just like the top item. Everything else is the foundation to build that.
So speaking of the logo, which one do you like better? Number one or number two? Number one, number two. It's like an eye test.
So much fun.
It's like an eye test, right? Number one, number two.
Number two is a lot of energy. And I think it is who you are,
It's Groundhog Day. It's I'm going to keep saying that. I'll be like, Groundhog Day, back and forth all day today. But yeah, this is a really important discussion. Like I've had lots of talks, like I said, with marketing folks, and really being able to show up as your best self and convert it into the revenue that you're looking for is big. So I'm very excited. I'm so glad you're here. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Christine Ranietz, founder of Peren Design. Stay with us.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Brancu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners?
Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Friday. It's always Friday. And it's me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. We are chatting with Christine Rainetz, founder of Paran Design, graphic design, branding, marketing. She can help you do a lot as far as learning who you are and getting the right message out there. Like my friend Michael Leibowitz said, I keep saying it, Christine, I can't help myself. Marketing is asking someone out on a date. Branding's the reason they say yes. You want them to say yes, but you want it to be branding plus business development. You want it to be yes over and over again. You want to create a client for life. Christine, this is the method part of the show. Before we dive into the method behind your madness, you'll permit me if I like to sit out by the fire pit for just a moment and kick it off with everybody here today. And I haven't been able to do that in forever. It's been raining for like 2 weeks straight. It's ridiculous. But knowing yourself is very important. And a lot of people think they do, and they don't. I thought I did for a while, and I figured a whole bunch of things out along the way. Kind of comes with the idea of being coachable and open to learning something new every day and not necessarily set in your ways. If you're going to have a successful distribution effort, a successful business development effort, it is absolutely crucial that you know your audience. You got to know who you're presenting to. You got to be able to tune into their personality, learn a little bit about them, and play to it, and make sure that what you're saying is how they want to digest information. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. I believe very, very strongly in that. In the last handful of years, Christine, the idea of knowing yourself has become a lot more important. And as much as you can try to be introspective and read personal development books and try to grow and change and learn new things, I feel like I learn something new about myself every day these days. Maybe it just comes with getting older. Maybe I'm getting senile and just forgetting things I already know about myself. But it's very important to be able to tell, whether you're in a company or you're talking about yourself as an individual, you got to be able to tell a consistent story internally. If you can't do that, how the hell are you going to tell one externally? I've seen a lot of different business efforts. I've been part of a lot of different business efforts that can't tell a consistent story internally. It's like a recipe for disaster. So let's throw it over to you. This is the method part of the show, the science behind what you do, exactly what you do, exactly how you do it, exactly how you go to market, which I already know one of the ways. I met you in one of my favorite networking groups that I like to party in nationwide, TNG, the networking group. So that was where we met in person at the Watering Hole in New York City. But we got to tell everybody a little bit about the method behind your madness. Lay it on us. Give us a little bit of insight here.
I consider it, and I help companies think creatively about branding and business development. So, and that's where the design, branding, and marketing comes into play, and those complementary elements. So, as you mentioned, it really is about learning about yourself. Not only that, but then it's sharing it with others. And
yes.
So there is certainly a bravery associated with that. And that's not a very comfortable place to be. And though it's a very exciting place, and that's what I do. I work with my clients really carefully to get to know them. So we develop trust. So we dive deep. I hear their stories. We share our stories, and that leads to that marketing, business development, and individuality, in a saturated marketplace.
So one thing I love, Christine, is when a special guest I bring onto the show has content on their website that I can just straight up steal, jack, lift that fits perfectly into my show's format. And it's even better when it's a testimonial, because everybody loves a good testimonial when you're talking about your services, right? So this is, I consider this, Christine, to be the method testimonial, right?
Yeah.
We consider Christine and Paran Design an invaluable partner for our agency. Her talent and insights have elevated our clients' brands, leaving a lasting impact on their target audiences. And you know who said that? John Rod, president and founder of John Rod and Company, a digital marketing agency, not only an Always Friday alumni, special guest, but also a digital marketing agency. Somebody might even say competition for Christine. I love the fact that you have a testimonial on your website from a digital marketing agency. Talk to me a little bit about that, because not everybody in your space partners with other digital marketing gurus.
I play nice, let me tell you. I do. It's about creative partnership and making each other look really great. That's what it's about. And so we dive into what each other's talents are, and we harness that and we make magic.
I mean, that almost felt magical the way that you said that.
Did it?
I like to say that I made this term up because, then it'd be cool. Maybe I get a quarter every time somebody says it. But along the way, I started thinking, especially as I got a little deeper into the work that I do, I started talking in terms of cooperation. And I love that word. Maybe you've heard it before. Maybe I made it up. I don't know. It's
a trademark attorney. Maybe
I'm going to be 40. I'm going to be 44 years old this year. I forget a lot of stuff at this point. But cooperation, right? So a lot of times, it's even when you're running around networking, which that's how I met you, right? In a networking type of setting. When you meet people in a networking setting and they do digital marketing type of work, if you talk to, like, a lot of them will try to be a jack of all trades, master of none, right? And that's, sometimes for certain things in your life, maybe that works. I find that it doesn't work very well for trying to tell a consistent story internally and out. You really want somebody who can help you along with that and handhold it. Sometimes people who work on search engine optimization and pay-per-click marketing campaigns, they're not the best people to figure out how you should brand yourself to tell the best story. Sharing stories is what I'm all about here, and I love the fact that you framed it that way. So it seems like cooperation is a way of life for you too.
I love it. Yes, absolutely. And John and John's team, they're delightful and talented.
John, and John, right? I know they all creative with the names, right?
A lot of Johns and are really amazing and creative and just great partners.
But what's crazy is, right, if I go back, I don't know how many episodes I always lose count. Like me and Tommy D, we always lose count of how many episodes we do. But let's say there's 150 of them, right? Let's say I had 15 different conversations with people about digital marketing, like in digital branding and marketing initiatives, right? I feel like I in my world, I have a use for almost like every one of you. Like, I feel like you guys each have a different strength that you're working on. And, not to necessarily drive in only a couple of lanes, but you're also very specific on some of the things that you're asking for. It's like it says right on your website, law firms and nonprofits. It's like the work that I do on a day-to-day basis. I cater to damn near everything, but you're just like law firms, nonprofits. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Beauty of a niche, and that was, a huge component of my business, was structuring it, was really embracing my background. I came from big law, doing marketing and branding, business development in that space for 20 years. And so when I launched my business, I really wanted to take all of that expertise, all that experience, that know-how of big law culture and how business is done, and applied for smaller firms, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs in the law firm space. And I knew I also had a love for the nonprofit space as well. So I wanted to combine that into one business and really be defined about it and really embrace it. And it's been fantastic. It's memorable.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Lawyers.
Did I hear you say beauty in the niche, like Beauty and the Beast? I like that. Did you trademark that too?
I think we need trademark lawyers. I think we need a third person.
I don't know if you listen to talkradio.nyc on a regular basis, but right after me, Matthew Aspel his show's called Intangify. He's an intellectual property attorney, so stay tuned.
Absolutely. I think we do. So, yeah, the beauty of a niche, but really, it helps. It actually, it really focuses you. If it works to grow my business, we work together, and we're, and I'm a great fit for them, and we're a great fit for each other. We go for it.
Absolutely.
And it's been delightful just having that defined, and that's what I recommend for all my clients too. We work on that as well with each other.
Well, just in general, right? The idea of being more specific. We met at a networking group type of setting, and I'm in a whole bunch of different networking groups, weekly ones, monthly, semi-monthly, every other month ones, industry specific ones. And no matter which forum you're in, you'll hear somebody say like, oh, the person I'm looking for is somebody, anybody, everybody. And those tend to be very dirty words when you're talking about trying to find your ideal client, right? Because somebody, anybody, everybody, that equates to nobody, because that you just described everybody I know. Like if an accountant says, I'm looking for people who pay taxes, it's like, there's only two guarantees in this life. You have to pay taxes and you have to die. So that's everybody. It's not going to help you find somebody to refer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The niche is the key to it all, for referrals, for, having your audience remember you. Yeah. And it leads to other work as well.
Yes.
It just does, it naturally does. And so, which is also quite a beautiful, amazing thing as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, but again, some of it is definitely by design, no pun intended, parent design. Some of it's by design, but it feels a lot more organic, especially when you have the people first type of approach, right? We're all people first. Like, even the businesses that we do, the services we provide, the products we sell, we're all different people. So you got to learn what makes everybody tick. Like I've said stuff like this time and time again here and in real life. I think of, this is real life, but it's this is the virtual world too. But if I line up 10 people with a particular specialty, electrician, plumber, and ask what they do, I'll get some very similar answers. But if I ask a little bit more about the story and how they got into it and why they got into it and a little bit deeper, you'll get 10 different stories. You'll get 10 different episodes of Always Friday is basically what I'm telling you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really comes down to the storytelling, whether you're a lawyer, a corporate lawyer, or you're a nonprofit. It's all about the storytelling and differentiating yourself through story.
So when I mess around and talk to people about people first, then process, then product, it might sound like I'm just spewing a bunch of rhetoric, but I mean, really not. Like, it's the whole thought is sharing stories is a people thing. We're all people first. Everybody loves and appreciates a good story. Then we get into the providing perspective piece. The providing perspective piece comes from field work and travels and experience that you have where you can give certain perspective. And then getting on to creating connection that I say at the beginning of every episode I do, as redundant and Groundhog Day-ish as it might sound. The whole idea is, I have products and services that I myself sell, but I'm about creating the connection. I'm going to connect you with either my suite of products and services. I'm going to connect you with Christine's suite of products and services. I'm going to connect you with Tommy D's suite of products and services. That's what it's all about. It's about the people who you're making a relationship with. It's real hard to make a relationship with a product because they don't last too long. They change every day.
They do.
Sounds like you agree with me.
I do.
Well, then I'll get off my soapbox because we got to take a break here, but I'm really excited to hear about some of your field travels coming up in the next segment, because I have some of my own in this space that I've definitely made some astute observances about. But you work doing a bunch of work. You worked for 16 years at a law firm, and now you own your own design company. I'm really curious to see what kind of crap you've been watching and been party to. But we got to take this break. We'll be right back with Christine Rainetz. I can see I got that phonetically. Christine Rainetz. She's the founder of Paran Design. Stay with us, everyone.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host a program, Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
What really drives success in business? Introducing Intangify, the show that explores the intangible assets that create value and growth. I'm Matthew Aspel, your host and an attorney focused on innovation. Join me Fridays at noon Eastern to discover how innovation, culture, and other intangibles shape thriving companies from startups to established businesses. We'll share strategies to unleash your business's true potential. Tune in live on talkradio.nyc Fridays at noon Eastern and intangify your business today.
Were you an essential worker during the pandemic? If you needed to learn stages of epilepsy, did you depend on advocates? Did you use new innovations to cope with mental and neurological issues? Maintaining high quality of life and keeping good mental health are what we all strive for. I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each week top healthcare influencers, professionals, and innovators answer these questions and more. Stay tuned on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will continue to be frank about health with all of you.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. We are chatting with Christine Ragnetz. She's the founder of Paran Design. She helps small, medium-sized businesses with graphic design, branding, marketing, telling an authentic story about themselves to their ideal client. So it sounds so easy, right? And everybody struggles with it, right? Whether it's on your to-do list or you're just getting started or you've been trying to spend some money on marketing initiatives for years. It's something that might change over the years. If you've been around for 40 years and you redid your marketing and branding strategy 20 years ago, you might need to revisit it once again. Christine, love the discussion so far. I'm sorry, I talked a lot in the last segment. I apologize. I want to hear a lot from you, but I get really excited when it's a topic that I'm very passionate about. So you'll permit me. Yeah, don't forget.
I have to unmute. I didn't get it.
So once again, thank you for all the awesome content that I could steal directly from your website. That's very much appreciated for people in my type of world. But this is the madness part of the show, as I talk to you about. This is one of my favorite types of discussions because this is the artistic observational part of what you do. We talked a little bit about the method behind the madness. Now it's time to talk about the madness, the stories you have from the field, the things that you've run into, the things you've had to navigate. And again, you have some awesome testimonials on your website. You just started this thing a couple of years ago. And this is, I love what the content that you've put up there in general, the idea of branding plus business development, very powerful and very needed by folks out there. But even these types of testimonials from third parties, especially the first one from our buddy John Rod, another digital marketing agency, that's fantastic. Now we get into the madness testimonial. You ready? Christine took the time to deeply understand the partner's policy, goals, and messaging. Then, with creativity and passion, developed imaging that greatly elevated the themes of our advocacy work. And that was from Trish Perlmutter, Associate Director for Policy Outreach and Community Relations with the New Jersey Division on Civil Rights. My wife works for the state as well, so
all right.
They might have even run into each other at one of those fun state parties out there. But that's another I word. First, impact, which is a fun one that I like to toss around. The whole idea with the show, from Weekend Insight to Monday Impact, right? Now, imaging. I do believe, Christine, and there's lots of proof about it out there, that most people are visual learners, and that is how they will best engage. Which I try not to do too many plays of words on the company that I work for, but hey, every now and then, if the shoe fits, you got to do it, right?
Hey.
But seriously, like most people are visual learners. Even me screwing around with the green screen as I like to do, even though I'm in my kid's playroom, completely displaced from my normal studio activities. I mean, it's just fun. It gets people animated, it gets people excited, and it gets them engaged. So talk to us a little bit about some of the stories you have from the field, because I've seen firsthand that business leaders can be their own worst enemies with this.
They can. I combine branding and business development because everyone needs to do business development. You have to do business development. Referrals are wonderful and powerful, but it's the business development component gives you control, a bit more control, and really a good strategy helps get your name out there, right? And get recognized and tell your story. So stories from the field. I have a client who once said to me, she said to me, your work makes me feel so badass. I was like,
yes, that's
I was
cool.
like, I was like, badass. I was like, tell me more. How is that?
That can't be bad, right?
Oh, it cannot. So it cannot. So she felt empowered. You know, my work supported her presentations. My work supported, you know, when she was handing out her business card and her branding. My work with her made her feel empowered. And so that's the joy. And that brings along more clients for her and brings along those opportunities. So that's one example of where the joy comes into the work, you know, and
I love the idea of empowering, and so does the station as a whole. Talkradio.nyc, uplift, educate, empower is what we're all about. And, you know, again, I like alliteration, so thank you for having a couple of impactful words that start with I. So that's very cool. But imaging is important, right? And again, the idea of it's not what you say, it's how you say it, and it's what the other side of the table hears or sees, right? Because that's the way people tend to take in a lot of stuff these days. If you're surfing things on Instagram, most people want to see pictures and little videos. Like, that's the deal.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
they do want to see those visuals, and it's those visuals that trigger memories, but they also have to really feel like the person. And so that's the really important aspect of it. If your logo design, for example, doesn't resonate your story or resonate you or your business, people are going to get confused. People aren't going to remember you. And so that's the work that I do.
So you still say 2/1 for me, logo wise, right? Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Absolutely.
I like polling the audience. I'd like to poll the actual audience and see which one they like better, but
absolutely.
But yeah, no, I've been asking a lot of the guests as of late. But yes, like that's it when things feel like a little bit warmer and a little more inviting to the visual eye, it's almost like a tacit buy-in, tacit approval, like right there. It's people do business with folks who they like, they trust, and who they think know what they're talking about. And the way you show up sometimes, even if it's on a billboard, which, believe it or not, there's still a lot of people that spend a lot of money on billboard advertising and see a lot of money from it. I'm continually shocked by that, by the way, especially when it's a law firm that just puts their name on it and that's it. Like, no story, no picture, no nothing. Like, here's my name. I'm a lawyer. Call me.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. What?
What?
Yeah. You know, everyone has their own solution for success and what that means. And
Yes.
so, you know, it could mean a billboard for one client, you know, and that really works well for strategy purposes. And then for others, it could be writing or wanting to attend or, you know, create an event. And so that's the other, you know, other solution. So what I do is I really dive deep. We get to know one another, what they love to do, what my clients love to do, what they don't like to do, because they have to do that too sometimes. And
no, not sometimes, Christine. I feel like I feel like not only is it important to you know, work on the ideal client profile, it's also important, especially when you're trying to network and speak with people. It's almost equally important to know, like, this is who I don't want to work with. And that's a lot of times people get gun shy of that because, like, whoa, I don't want to turn myself off. I want all the opportunities. Yeah, no, you don't. A lot of times you probably don't.
yeah, a lot of times you're just not a right fit, or you have to say no if it's not going to grow your business, or, you know, it's not the value, you know, you're adding is not right. And so,
and believe me, I've had a lot of trouble saying no in my life. Believe me. But no. It can be magical, especially when you're talking about your you know, with the business that you're running.
Absolutely.
It can't be everywhere.
You cannot. And, you know, and it's really, as part of your business service, you have to be honest and say, you know, if this doesn't fit my niche, this doesn't fit, you know, give me the financial opportunities for my own business, it's going to be a no. But you can also be a resource for them and, you know, help them in other ways, you know.
Yeah. And it's, again, like, learning, helping, learning. That's a lot of stuff that, you know, shout out to Michael Goldberg. He's an alumni from the show, been on Knockout Networking, the networking group, the founder. It's like, again, it's trying to be of service. A lot of the mantra, BNI, givers gain, things like that. It's the same everywhere, no matter what the little buzzwords are.
Yep.
In order to take, you have to give. Like Michael Goldberg says that. I'm sure somebody else said that as well, but it can't be one-sided. We're all people. It doesn't have to be quid pro quo, Mr. Powers, this for that. It can be something where, hey, listen, I have ways I can help you, whether it's my services and my products, or you should meet Christine. Maybe her services or products can be can be of help to you or your clients.
So the John Rods of the world, I utilize them for development, so we we swap projects all the time. And so that's how it works. And, where we're adding value for our clients. That's important.
That's another one that I feel like a lot of people in your space, this is not my own madness observations, like they'll miss that, right? So if you have, it's like you said it perfectly. It's like, I play nice. It's like, there's a lot of people who don't nowadays. Like the angry kid in the sandbox, like trying to break all the toys. It's like, it's crazy. If you're really...
I want to edit that though.
Go ahead.
I play right. How about that?
Yeah. No, I like that. I play nice. I play right. Because the fact of the matter is, if you're doing really well, maybe you don't have time to work on certain things. Maybe when you identify your ideal client and your not ideal client, it's like you might get magically some referrals and opportunities that don't fit. Farm them out to somebody else and split the money.
Yes, there's different approaches.
Hello.
And, and that's part of the experience of business development is when to say no, when to say yes, when to pass it on, when to,
when to take it and run. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like some of that stuff. I mean, maybe I've been exposed to it for a long time and I've just like, I've grown thick skin around it and just, it seems kind of obvious a little bit. Like you should probably not close any doors, don't burn any bridges. Like certain things and thoughts are around for a reason.
Never, ever, ever. If it's not in my wheelhouse or I can't add that value for a client, it's never. Right. It's how I can help you in other ways and being a resource and sending them to the right spot and continuing the relationship. Because it's amazing how you have a conversation one day and then months later, they're coming back for something else. So it's really a win.
I'm somebody, Christine, who doesn't like to be told that anything is impossible. However, trying to do everything and being everywhere at once is noticeably impossible.
Mm-hmm.
It just blows my mind a lot of times how people don't know how to do certain things. And sometimes they'll even admit it. Like, some of them won't. They'll be like, yeah, I can go online and find out how to do X, Y, Z, everything these days that I need to do. And I go back to old things I've said on the show and in real life, like you can go online these days and find a map and a compass to navigate through the wilderness. But when it gets dark and those nighttime noises start and you hear a coyote howling and it's a full moon, you're probably going to want a guide to take you through the wilderness. The map and the compass, you're not going to care so much about.
What's so interesting that you're saying that is that, people are developing relationships with online and you don't even know about it, right? So if a client of mine has a thought leadership initiative, they're speaking or they have a publication and people are researching for that information, they're bookmarking and developing relationships already online. And you never know where that relationship can go. That's that phone call, so hence the making sure that you are not only present in a room, but also making sure your visibility digitally is important as well. Print, all of that stuff, even on a billboard, if it
whatever floats your boat, man. And I'm also the type of, I'm definitely the type of person that believes in diversification. So it's, especially these days, right? There's not one right or wrong answer.
If it makes strategic sense, then yes.
So we're going to go to break here in just a few moments, but I want a couple of the pictures and things I see on your website as far as fun stories and things. I have two daughters. I believe I've told you. I know you have a daughter as well. Yeah. Stand-up girls. What is this? Can my kids get involved in it when they're teenagers? Like, they're pretty much there as stand-up comics already. Like the stuff that comes out of their mouths is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, they are a nonprofit organization that teaches teenage girls to perform stand-up comedy routines. Yeah. So it's again, the empowerment word. It provides all those skills, really the strength to get on stage and again, storytelling. It's about storytelling.
So not only do I love that from the sense of humor standpoint, but there's a lot of corporate training these days revolving around improv comedy and things like that, just to be able to make a better presentation.
Absolutely.
I freaking love it, and I want to talk to you more about it. We got to take this break. We'll be right back with Christine Rainetz. She's the founder of Paran Design. Stay with us, everyone.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Broncu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Welcome back to Always Friday with me, Stephen Fry, your SMB guy. We are chatting with my friend, Christine Rainetz. She's the founder of Paran Design, graphic design, branding, marketing to help small, medium-sized businesses, concentration on law firms and nonprofits. She is your go-to for telling your story, being introspective, learning about yourself, and learning about how you want to show up to your target audience so that you can build a successful business development relationship. Christine, I love it. I'm sorry I've been talking so much. Once again, I love this topic. I can't stop.
Keep going. I love it.
once you pop, you can't stop. You know, I can't stop.
No, it's wonderful. I love the conversation. Thank you.
Beautiful. So we were just talking about some of the folks that you do work with. We were talking about Stand Up Girls, and this is a nonprofit organization that teaches stand-up comedy to teenage girls, which can be very dangerous undertaking these days. If you listen to female comics as of late, some of them are almost raunchier than my friend George Carlin and Richard Pryor, just like in your house growing up, right? So
Yep.
that's it could be dangerous, but especially if you're teaching things like improv comedy. A couple of years before you got into the TNG mix, we had a holiday party where we had a gentleman come in and teach about improv comedy for the purposes of corporate America, for showing up better in meetings, and it was awesome. It was great.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And stand-up was like huge in my family growing up. And so, George Carlin, Richard Pryor, my dad was a really funny guy, and so was my mom. So humor was just always part of the mix. And so working for Stand Up Girls, working on their logo, apparel design, all these different elements. I worked with a website developer. We developed, the whole website. It was fantastic, and a fantastic organization.
So I have a lot of George Carlin routines memorized, and anytime you could start spouting them off, some people will pick up on it, and it typically makes people pee their pants, which is terrific. But one of what I love about George Carlin, the late George Carlin, I saw a guy, and I'm doing all these renovations. I was in Home Depot and saw a guy that was, no joke, the spitting image of George Carlin. I'll show you the picture later. It was terrifying. I thought he came back from the dead. But such a, you say George Carlin, people are like, Yeah, 7 words you can't say on television. Yeah, it's one of his routines. But every single routine he did had like a couple of big things in common, and one of them was just a crazy commanding use of language and a way of communicating, obviously with a couple F-bombs dropped here and there, but like, yeah, a way of just stickiness, a way that when I first heard it at sleepaway camp, which I'm sure my parents were thrilled about, but I heard it at sleepaway camp when I was 11 years old. It resonated so deep and hard. It's like core memory from Inside Out. Remember core memory? That's not going away, man. It's there.
Absolutely.
So, Christine, this is the message part of the show. When I designed that original logo back in the day before I started messing with potential new ones, the whole idea, and this reigns true today from Weekend Insight to Monday Impact, I love that, we've been talking about some of your testimonials out there that people have given you accolades for, and they're posted on your website. For the message part of the show to take everyone home for the weekend, I wanted to read this one as far as your testimonials go, because I think it tells the story well for where we are and bringing things home for the show here. It said, Christine's work has not only been exemplary, but transformative for our organization and the partners. Working with Christine feels more like a partnership, as she provides not only innovative ideas, but can pivot based on the changing needs of the organization. And that was from Brett Murphy, Communications Associate Partners. There you go, Christine. It's another I word for you. Innovative.
Innovative. That's where change happens. That's the transformation. And there's a little risk involved in that too. So it can be scary, but very exciting. And that's where the transformation, that's where the growth happens. Those are where the opportunities happen. So transformation can take on all different forms.
Absolutely. We've definitely seen that in the last handful of years, no doubt.
It can. And, it goes back again to success. What does a company define success? I have one client who defines success as having more time in her personal life. So she wants higher paying clients. So that's what I'm working with her on. So yes, there's design elements associated with that, but there's also looking at her CRM, her marketing, seeing what's happening and targeting and positioning her in the right space. And we're getting results. And so that's what it's all about. And it's innovative. It's trying different ideas and being open to that and working with clients to, with it. It involves trust too. A lot.
It's funny, Logan, the engineer, and I were having this discussion the other day about, really kind of interacting all aspects of sales, marketing, and operations, because really that's what it takes to have a successful distribution effort. Doesn't matter if you work in the human capital management world, you're a financial advisor, you're an insurance broker, you're a graphic designer. It's like you have to have a healthy blend of sales, marketing, and operations. And you got to have people like you, trust you, and think you know what you're talking about. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. But this type of work, the words disruption and innovation get passed around a lot these days in the last decade, right? And, in the guise of this conversation, Christine, I like the idea of being creative when you're looking at a company's branding, leading to innovation. So it's really kicking around a few ideas. Then you have to get the ideas to translate visually. Then you have your imaging. It's another I, right? And then you have the impact. That's the product that an organization like yours, and really anyone that I've ever spoken to in the digital marketing, branding type of world, ultimately, you want to have an impact on your clients. And the more you can measure it from a business development perspective, the better it goes to tell the story as far as sales and money.
Measurements. Yeah.
What gets measured gets mastered. I never used to like terms like that. There's a reason it's passed around.
What I like to say, I like to be data informed, but gut focused.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's embracing the data, looking at it, having it, sort of guide the business, but being gut focused where, what data usually doesn't track are people's feelings about your branding, emotion attached to it. And so it's a combination of that, which I offer. So my clients, and we talk about all the time.
So, Christine, we're a couple minutes away from wrapping up the show here. You want to talk to everyone a little bit real quick just about the event that you're doing coming up March 14th?
March 14th, I am super excited. I'm teaming up with the nonprofit committee and the marketing communications committee at the Queen's Chamber of Commerce. So we're doing, our topic is focused on the nonprofit space. It's called Nonprofit Narratives, Harnessing the Power of Storytelling and Branding. So it's happening on March 14th in Queens, New York. Yes. 9 to 11. And so there's a registration that's available on the, Queens Chamber of Commerce website.
I didn't mean to start laughing, but Logan, the engineer, put in there, will there be pie there? It's Pie Day after all. I can always count on Logan. 314. Yeah, right.
I'm going to make that suggestion. Absolutely.
You should absolutely make that suggestion while you still have some time.
Thank you for that. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be blast, audience participation. The last event that I was a part of a panel with and with the marketing team, we sold out the event. So it's free, it was booked completely, but it's free also. So tell all your nonprofit connections about it.
Tell your friends, tell their friends, everybody, come one, come all. Christine, we got to wrap this up. We got another show starting here with Matthew Aspel on Intangify in just a few minutes. But as I've told you, I ask every guest I've ever interviewed who's their favorite movie or TV show character, what's their favorite movie or TV show, what's their favorite musical instrument, and who's the artist they'd like to hear play it. You gave me a barrage of answers, which I personally love. It's driving me crazy when no one's ever thought of that. But just because I love movies, TV, and music. But Peggy Olson from Mad Men, given that you're into marketing, that's not a big stretch. I'm pretty cool with that answer. That's a good one. And a lot of these ladies that you rattled off are very strong types of personalities. Absolutely. You rattled off Laurie from Halloween. It's like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Huge John Carpenter fan. So yeah. Yep. Laurie Strode all the way. Absolutely.
You said Ripley from Alien, Sigourney Weaver, not just 80s playlists. You have like 80s power women here, kind of.
And I also love The Thing too. I'm also a big Thing fan. The Thing.
Yep. And so that was as far as your characters go. You said your favorite TV show was The Sopranos, which my Jersey boy heritage. Thanks you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I love The Sopranos.
You also said Blade Runner was one of your favorite movies. You didn't give me a favorite musical instrument, but you said if you could build a time machine and go back in time, your favorite bands you'd like to see David Bowie, you'd like to see Led Zeppelin, and you'd like to see one of my all-time favorites, Pink Floyd, baby.
Absolutely. If I can go back in time and do that, I would.
I don't blame you. Some great choices.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we got to wrap up here, Christine. Thank you I know we've been talking about this a while, starting at a watering hole in NYC. You made it here to talkradio.nyc and to Always Friday. Pleasure to have you here once again.
Thank you so much. Loved it. Thank you so much.
Love to hear that. Coming up next week, hopefully I'll have a finished house and maybe some actually stationary area where I could do my show out of instead of setting up chairs and microphones and screens and computers everywhere. But thank you for joining us here on Always Friday. We hope you gained some weekend insight to make a Monday impact. Have a great weekend. We will see you next Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, right here on Talk Radio NYC. Bye-bye, everyone. Christine, thank you very much once again.